Good morning and welcome to Take Two for this Friday, the 12th of October, 2018. Now, I've been having some technical issues this morning, by the way. I'm Jeannie. I'm sorry about that, but because of this storm that we just had, Hurricane Michael that just went through, there's all kinds of issues with our internet service and so on. So I truly apologize for what's going on right now. And if you have been sticking with me this morning for the last 10 or 15 minutes, you see I've had a lot of false starts and stops. So again, I apologize. We have joked a lot about this being Hurricane Michael because Michael would say, my husband, if I could survive Hurricane Jeannie, then she could survive Hurricane Michael. But the truth of the matter is it wasn't a funny thing at all. It was quite a serious thing. But first things first, let me wish a very, very happy birthday, many, many birthday blessings to John David Sigler. This is a big one next year for you. So without saying how old you are, I am going to say many blessings to you because when you hit the big one next year, I hope that this last year in this other decade is a good one for you. John David, my husband's son, and also my stepson, and we love him dearly. So many blessings to you, John David. Anyway, as I was starting to say, if you had started out with me this morning, a lot of us in our lives, you know, we start things out and we just are in a normal mode. So our lives might look something like this, okay? Just one thing stacked on top of another, and this makes it kind of a normal mode. But in recent days, with this big giant hurricane coming through, which was quite devastating, it's listed as one of the, it's the third worst hurricane to ever hit the Gulf Coast, if I'm not mistaken, in recorded meteorology history. And I could attest to that to say I never saw anything like it. There was some damage in our yard, but we did manage to get through. But as I said, we'll start our lives out, you know, just one thing on top of another, normal. And then all of a sudden we find ourselves in this kind of mode. And here we are, and it was just like our lives have just been shredded, and like so many things that happened with roofs on houses and trees, big giant trees, 100-year-old trees, just snapping just like that, like a toothpick. It's pretty scary. So we need to do everything we possibly can to mobilize and help our neighbors and help our friends as they go from a life of this to a life of suddenly having this, and we need to be there for them. So I'm going to just say, very short and sweet, be a blessing to somebody today. Help them. If they're in this mode right now, and there's so many that are right now, help them. You may never be able to get them back to this, but maybe you can help them open a new package so that they could start over again. You know, one thing that really, really blesses me is something I read, and that is we live in a neighboring town of Graceville, Florida. And it's very nearby. It's only about 10 miles from us because we're right down at the border of Alabama and Florida. As a matter of fact, my dentist is in Florida and in Graceville, about a 20-minute, 25-minute drive away from my house. And he posted this morning on Facebook that the roof of his practice flew off, which was, of course, quite, you know, shocking to imagine my dentist office without a roof on it. But he said that in the same little town of Graceville, Florida, there's a Bible college, a little Bible college in there. And he said that it warmed his heart to see all denominations coming together, all local people coming together, all gathering, and the Bible college is using its facility as sort of a station for people to go to if they need anything at all, food, clothing, anything. You know, yesterday, my friend Bobby, who works at Big Lots, she said that there was a couple going through with pushing their cart through. Down here in the South, we call them the buggy, pushing their buggy through. And there was toilet paper and water and all sorts of things in it. And she said to the woman pushing the buggy through the checkout, Bobby was checking her out, and she said, so did you lose a lot in this storm? Because this couple had come up from the Gulf. And she said, everything you're looking at in this shopping cart is what we own now. And just to imagine that they truly, their entire lives became this. Their entire lives were shredded just like that. But they did add on as a postscript, but we're just grateful that we came out of it alive. Even their pet came out of it alive, and they were so grateful. So is it a rough time? Is it difficult? Is it challenging? Absolutely. But you can go be a blessing to somebody today. You could go join those kids over at the Bible College and the workers that are doing that. Call your local Red Cross. Call anybody in the area and just say, are you doing something? Call the local radio stations, television stations. Ask them if there's something that you can do to go be a blessing to somebody today. And you might end up being the only one. You might go knock on the door of somebody who has no electricity, nothing, whose lives aren't going to look like this for a very long time. And you could say, look, I know this is it, but let me do what I can to help you, okay? Hey, go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jeanne Sigler, Jeanne Sigler, and click that subscribe button if you have internet. I have no internet, so I'm doing this on my mobile device right now, and this is the best I can do. That's why I was having so many issues this morning. So there'll be a couple of take twos missing the last few days, but we'll get them back loaded in as soon as we have internet again, okay? But make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel as well as listen to my radio station, WRMZ.org. Again, we're not streaming right now because of this storm, because of the hurricane, but the donate button is working. So if you'd like to hit that and help us, because we went over to the station yesterday and there was broken glass everywhere. It was a mess. So any help that you could help us with, we would appreciate. Boys and girls, this is a labor of love, and we're reaching out to you now. So if you could reach back out to us, we would truly appreciate it. But most importantly, let your heart reach out to somebody who's living a life that looks like this right now, because it's a long road ahead, and together we can do it, okay? Just show the love. I love you all so much. I'll see you on Monday, and hopefully by then I'll have a good update of lots of happy things happening in our lives. But in the meanwhile, hang in there and go be a blessing. I can't stress it enough today. I love you all very much. See you then.